I am Sharon Ichason and welcome to Labour Lens. On this edition of the program, we will be focusing on the oil and gas sector and how Nigerian workers can actually benefit from it. But first, let's begin with the news. The Joint Health Sector Union has commenced a nationwide strike. The workers insist that they will not call off the strike until the government meets their demands. Some of the demands by JOHESU are the upward adjustment of CONHES salary scale, employment of additional health professionals, implementation of court judgment, and upward review of retirement age from 60 to 65 years. It will be recalled that the union suspended its nationwide strike in September 30th, 2017.
JOHESU has no other choice than to proceed on an indefinite nationwide strike action as from midnight of Tuesday, 17th April 2018, when the 30 working days is expected to expire. That is tomorrow, midnight tomorrow. Therefore, JOHESU unions hereby direct all her members in federal health institutions all over the country to commence the strike immediately at midnight of Tuesday, 17th April 2018, unfailingly.
Doctors say if we are given review, they should also ask for their own review. And the ministry has keyed into that to deny us our right. Waiting with the interest of the ministry in the matter. So, as the conflict is between us and doctors, the minister has joined in the conflict. Is he not the shadow party? The Minister of Health has joined in the conflict. Is he not the shadow party? And these are the same people we are asked to go and negotiate with, who have taken position side by side with the doctors.
Pensioners under the pressure group called Concerned Pensioners of Nigeria held a press conference in Lagos tagged "Retirement to the Grave." According to the pensioners, after 8 months of pension verification exercise, thousands of pensioners who have not been on payroll for about 10 years and below have not received a dime from the Pension Transitional Agreements Directorate, PTAD. They, however, called on the federal government to investigate the issue.
This agency is not sensitive to the agony of pensioners. There has not been any corresponding response, nor detailed information about the reason why their entitlement has not been paid. The agency is not paying attention to pensioners' welfare and priorities.
Well, I work with Federal Ministry of Information as accountant for 32 good years. I retired in 2006. They paid me up to 2010 December, but 2011 January they did not give me anything up to this moment. I went to Abuja about 3 times. They said they will pay, they did not. They said they've gone for verification last year, September. I was there. I do everything. They said they will pay by December. They did not pay up to now. They did not pay. They told me to use less money to my children.
They pay my arrears. After paying my arrears, they didn't pay my salary. They didn't pay my salary. 2010, that they paid this money, but they didn't pay anything to me at all.
The verification have been done to satisfy those people that are not ghost workers. And there is evidence of the certificate issued. And they said a month after January, they will pay us our money. Since then, they are not being paid. Many of us are dying. I'm a single parent, a widow over 17 years ago. I'm catering for myself. What I do, I read. But I've not been collecting my money. It's very unfair.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has said that it spends 774 million naira daily on petrol subsidy. This is what is stirring controversy in the polity at the moment. With daily evacuation of premium motor spirit pegged at an average of 50 million litres per day, the NNPC says that the landing cost for a litre of refined petroleum product is 171 naira, while the official pump price is 145 naira, leaving a differential of 26 naira. This means that the corporation is incurring an under-recovery of 774 million every day, which approximates 24 billion naira monthly, adding up to a colossal 288 billion naira a year, approximating $795 million. Available reports showed that Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation spent 112 billion naira on fuel subsidy in the first 10 months of 2017, that is, between January and October 2017.
The landing cost, as I should sell it in the, at the pump, without under recovery, it will be 171 naira 40 kobo. However, Mr. President has directed that we should sell at 145 naira and maintain all the parameters to ensure that it is sold maximum at 145 naira. And that's why we are selling ex-depot 133 naira 28 kobo.
Despite its own admission that the landing cost of imported petroleum products has exceeded approved retail pump price, the NNPC still claims the government has not been paying subsidy on petrol. But Nigerians have read insincerity into this disclosure, particularly about the government's refusal to make official pronouncements on the issue of subsidy component in NNPC fuel supply costs, having declared at inception it had removed it from the official petroleum products pricing template.
This subsidy of a thing has become a monster in Nigeria. Every government that comes in, even the one that Hitato said there was nothing like Hitato, the present government, they came in and told us that they will stop anything subsidy. There was no subsidy, and we're expecting that they will live by what they said. But now we are going back worse to what they condemned. It's so bad that things are happening this way. From zero subsidy to over 700 million every day.
Subsidy is in the limbo. For instance, if I go to the words of GMD of NNPC, Barrow, you see, Nigeria is losing 774 million naira every day, which is called under recovery. It means you buy a product at 130 and you sell at 120 on the recovery. But then, and now, estimate budget of Nigerian consumption is 35 liters per day. But it's exceeding. Now they are pointing at 50 million cabals. But one thing is good. The man has brought the cat out of the bag. It means the government to stand up and fight this thing.
We want to know who appropriated such funds. Is it that we are running a banana republic, that there is no accountability, there is no... So you just go and take money anywhere? With this kind of humongous amount being mentioned, how do you think the refineries will work? They will never work. These refineries will never work. They will never produce at their highest level.
It is not clear where the monies were sourced from, since budgets for 2017 and 2018 had no mention of subsidy appropriation. The National Assembly has been spitting fire over this issue.
The government said 145 naira per litre is what it should sell. The same government said landing cost is 171 naira per litre, and that people should sell at 145. We ask, Mr. Speaker, which magic? Who approved the difference, which is subsidy?
If you say there is subsidy, when this price is rose to 145 naira, the common belief by all Nigerians was that subsidy is gone and it is gone for the good. So now you are telling us that the landing cost of petroleum product is 171 naira. Now, if it is 171 naira, who approves the subsidy of that payment of the remaining balance? Now, where is it buried? And who appropriated for it? And what are we going to do in the next few days and next few months and the years to come? We need to address this issue squarely. Between 2006, the figures we have now, and 2016, NNPC alone collected 5.1 trillion naira in subsidy. Marketers collected about 4-point-something trillion naira. Put together, we are talking of 10 trillion naira spent on subsidy.
At any rate, why has fuel subsidies suddenly become a topical issue at this point in time?
At the time that they were making these claims, yes, it looked cheeky to say that there were not going to be subsidy claims in the budget. What they did not tell you was the fact that the price of petroleum had crashed in the international market, and so there was no need to pay that differentials, if you'd like. But since the prices have increased in the international market, and you had major marketers refusing to import these products when you wanted them to still sell at 145 naira, the NNPC became the sole importer of these products, and they became the only people bearing the cost in between. And so you can't run away from simple arithmetic. Like I always say, the politicians will always have their way, but the numbers never lie. So look closely at the numbers.
The refineries are not working at full capacity, bring into question for how long will Nigeria continue to run an economy solely dependent on the price of crude oil in the international market.
It's grossly embarrassing that we continue to import refined petroleum products when we're supposed to have 4 refineries in the country. And we continue to spend billions and billions on turnaround maintenance, and nothing ever gets turned around at the end of the day. So these are very tough questions that we need to hold our legislators by the jugular to put pressure on the executive to answer these hard questions. Otherwise, we'll just keep running around circles.
An international think tank has estimated that by 2040, the global demand for petroleum products will drop by 8 million barrels per day.
On the Profile Interview segment this week, I will be speaking with the president of Pengasan. He will be providing solutions to the several challenges the oil and gas sector is faced with, especially when it comes to our oil refineries. Take a listen. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
A lot has been happening in the oil and gas industry, especially when it comes to refineries. I would like to ask you, what's happening with our refineries? How come none of it is actually functioning at this point?
Well, when you look at the state of the refineries and looking at where we are coming from to now, I think we need to also commend this government for their sincere efforts and making sure that the refineries are working. Because when the refineries were built, they were supposed to also be doing the turnaround maintenance as I went in. And the bane of those refineries was that some of them, the turnaround maintenance were not done for upward of 8-10 years. And that's why they are in this comatose state now. If they had also been doing that as I went in, we won't be where we are today. Because the essence of those refineries was to also look at it that to be, with local consumption, and also say they can also be exporting products out of to the neighboring West African countries. But because of the comatose state of the refineries, we will not be able to also utilize them fully. Because if the refineries are supposed to be doing turnaround maintenance for them maximally within 2-3 years, supposed to do it, service it, and change everything. But it's not been done, and so that what led to the state of those refineries. And then you also look at their age. Now, it's unfortunate where we are. But I believe with the efforts of this present government to also sincerely get the original equipment with us, to say they can also turn it around, make sure it's working, and then now look for ways to also look at the LNG model, partnering because of the financial implication of running it also by government. I think that would be good for the government, and that can also now make sure that the issue of fuel scarcity and everything will minimally be under control and be a thing of the past.
Okay, there's this research that says that even though we have all our refineries actually working up to capacity, there's this assumption that there's every possibility that it will not be enough for local consumption. How do we actually balance it?
Well, you see, for us as a nation, our producing country, I think the idea of daily consumptions is debatable. But you also look at it. If we look at the state of the refineries, and they're also working as we're supposed to be doing, then you can look at it that if infrastructures are provided, then local consumption will also be minimized. When you have, I mean, good road networks, transportation, trains, monotrain, everything, you find out that in advanced countries, most of the owners use their vehicles minimally at weekends. They want to go out to family outings. But throughout the week, through and fro, they use, I mean, trains, mass transit movements and everything. It's only weekends. And that's why when they send their car for, I mean, you see Nigeria importing it at Tokumbo, and it looks as if it's new. But, so if that are put in place, infrastructure are provided and everything, you find out that local consumption will also be, I mean, be a thing of the past. And we must also look for ways that, in view of almost everybody, every country now looking for a way to take out of PMS, electrical vehicles are going to be in place and everything. Nigeria will also start looking for ways to also see that we can also have a follow-up and be in tune with realities of what is taking place in other countries and everything. So for that local consumption of 50 million, 30 million, 40 million, I mean, you have so many figures being branded about. And so we need to be sure of how much of local consumption we are doing. And so that can also help in importation. And if our local refineries are working ultimately and then go to come in, I think that can also be a meeting of the part that minimally the level of importation will be very, very minimal.
So moving forward, when it comes to local consumption, you are of the view that the infrastructure of Nigeria should be improved upon so we can find solutions.
Yeah. For example, what the government is doing now, if you look at, if you get to Abuja now, when you land at the airport, that is what we call a transport train line that will take you from the airport to somewhere around near Church Gate, so that from there you can also find a way out. So once all our infrastructure, even I learned that they're also trying to make sure that all the major cities also have that facility. So when you have all those kind of things put in place, those measures put in place, the consumption, the issue of buying PMS, pressure on PMS, pressure on importation, will be a thing of the past. So we must feed the infrastructures something.
Now, Pengasan has actually suggested that the federal government should actually remobilize NNPC when it comes to fuel subsidy. What's your take on this?
Well, you know, the NNPC management, and I must say something that when you look at the structure of government now from the past, there have been minimal level of interference in the running of NNPC. I must say, because there was a time when I was group chairman of NNPC, that's 2009 to 2012, where you have high level interference by government. I was group chairman for a 3-year tenure, but I worked with 4 GMDs. So you can look at it that it was politicized. But when we have a tenure, a government that also gives the management the competence and the drive to drive it, there will be stability, there will be, I mean, the staff, everybody will be committed. And if the refineries and even the operations of NNPC are also being given free hand, there can be stability. They can move into so many areas. They can also develop and make sure that the NNPC is working as it's supposed to be. Like the Petronas of this world, the Sunday Aramco, the Petrobras, all of them. So I think it's very key. And the government has also given NNPC management the level of, freedom to also perform credibly. And also the pressure from National Assembly is also minimal. So with that, the NNPC management with the GMD at the end of affairs and the team, they should also work together, and they're working together with the staff to make sure that Nigerians get the real benefits of being an oil producing country.
How will this actually reduce the rate at which we experience fuel scarcity from time to time in the country?
Well, the issue of fuel scarcity is also tied to importation and the state of our refineries. But also look at it that in times past, prior to now, the marketers are being owed a lot sum of money, over 600, 700, 800 billion naira. And for Pengasin, the association in the oil and gas industry, we also use this medium to tell government that verify those claims, start paying, because we have been given ultimatum, we have also written letters, they have written letter to us, that if XYZ is not done, definitely to affect our members' job. And we don't want to ensure that we start giving government ultimatum, bearing in mind that the cost of our ultimatum and everything, because if they are not being paid, the marketers are not being paid their money, and our job members are losing their job, definitely we have no other choice to also fight back. But I also believe that the government, the National Assembly, everybody should also be involved and see how they can also do that. So then when also that is done, they can also come back to importing, and we can also make sure that NNPC is not bleeding to death. NNPC is carrying a large chunk of everything. And NNPC also make sure that there is provision for federation account money to be shared and everything. And so once you have that, and with the plan of the management of NNPC, for refineries to be, comprehensively turned around, rehabilitated, and it also was commended that there have been plans, they have made the financial, people that have also provided the financial with that. But they also make sure that refineries, the rehabilitation is also following timelines and is done as I went to. And we also see that there should be synergy of purpose by every speakers, everybody involved in the oil and gas. In a situation where I see SYZ saying government has money to fix refineries, and the same management is also trying to see, let's see what we can do. That means they are not working in unity. So if the NNPC management, I know that for the GMD of NNPC and the management team, for anything they are going to do, they must get presidential approval. From the president, who is also the Minister of Petroleum Resources, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources will also be involved. So these discussions of no money to fix the refineries, we are sending us signal to the investors. So how would they now come and believe that this? So if they are sincere to also make sure that NNPC is trying to make sure that investors are coming to rehabilitate it and look at the terms of payment and everything, it's going to be by trade, by barter, crude oil and everything, because of the amount of money involved. Fine, it's good for the country.
And as a labor leader, how do you think this will transcend to ensure that we have probably more workers in the industry?
Yeah. For example, let me say something, and I also want to use this same medium that government agencies in oil and gas, they need to start looking for ways of employing. For example, DPR has been stalled due to pressure from stakeholders that they want 500 people, everybody wants to be involved in recruitment. But with that, you won't get competence level. I want you also look at the government agency and NNPC, the level of attrition, people moving now, start retiring and everything. So NNPC management should also be, and the government agencies like PPRA, PTDF, PEP, DPR, they should also be giving free hand to start recruiting staff. For example, it's unfortunate that when you look at some of these management, some of the management of NNPC are retired, you see all of them going to Dangote. I can give you, Engineer Monso was a former GD in NNPC. Engineer Shode, that driving, was former NNPC. They also landed the former MD of Port Harcourt Refinery, Dr. Alfred, and he's also going to Dangote. So if NNPC management is not giving out to try replacing most of these people and get competent people, not politicized, professionals, then you look at that, NNPC is going on self-destruction. So the government should use this medium, to give NNPC management, the government agencies, free hand to employ competent people that can make sure that NNPC doesn't go down the drain.
Okay, recently some indigenous Khoi accused Pengassan of not supporting local content. What's your take on this? What's actually really happened?
No, you see, let's say something and let's get it right. Most of those marginal field operators and Nigerian companies operated by Nigerians, they are enemies of progress. I say it. You see, the unions play a greater role in the parties of NCDMB, local content act. And it's unfortunate that you see Nigerian operators handling this kind of thing, doing the service to this nation. The essence of that local content is that in every critical area, Nigerians should take ownership of the industry. How you have members, Nigerians, more Nigerians working in that industry, so that you know that this country belongs to all of them. And you see some of them, like you see the Ciscon of this world, Oil Data, Mekonde, SDF, Special Derivative Foiling, Fugro, University Energy, Frontier, exploring Nigerians. There are labor practices, there are labor laws that if you're going to do any process, spread out, follow due process. But what they do is that they look at it that they have the resources and everything. Instead of doing that, they go to court on ending, thereby defeating the purpose of having the local content act. And I must also commend the NCDMB under the leadership of Waribo Bote. They are trying to reposition the NCDMB and make sure that things are done properly. And in tandem with, we are telling them that we need to work together and protect this country. Nigeria belongs to every one of us. And we must look at it that when we are opportunity to be leading now, your children, generations unborn should also be able to be proud that this is what a legacy our forefathers left for us. Nigerian oil and gas industry must be properly managed by Nigerians, so that Nigerians will be proud of it.
Moving forward, looking at the number of quota of foreign expatriates in the country, I would like you to share your experience as someone that is in the oil and gas sector. Would you say that we have a lot of foreign expatriates in the country, or would you say that Nigerians are actually managing resources in the right places?
No, you see, for the issue of expatriate quota business, I think the Ministry of Interior and every government agencies, DPR, NAPIMS, SNMB, they should also be alive to their responsibilities. These are being abused. And it's not sustainable in their countries. For Total is more or less majorly by France, Shell is majorly by Holland and everything. Can that happen in their country? Then look at Chevron by American company, ExxonMobil. Can they accept that in their country? You see, in a company like ExxonMobil, having a GM security, a foreigner, well, we have Nigerians. How will a foreigner know the security network of this country? Why don't we put Nigerians in those places? So we have been having meetings of Ministry of Interior through Ministry of Labour that these are abuses. How would they feel now that you have government agencies like NCDM, Immigration, Interior, having foreigners heading it? Would they be happy? You have foreigners as controller general of immigration, controller as controller of customs, as everything. Would Nigerians be happy? Would they be happy? So those are things that we must kick against. No matter what, let whoever is heading those agencies make sure that they give zero tolerance to corruption, and make sure that Nigerians are not obtained. I mean, it's not that you can see Indians, you can see foreigners, Lebanese coming to this country. By the time you settle people at that industry, I mean, they can be busy. And they tell you, are coming here. The essence of even expatriates coming to this country, they are supposed to be mentoring Nigerians. Maybe a minimum of a year or two, so that after 2 years, Nigerians can take ownership. But you see them proportionally being there unending. And it's wrong. And at every forum, every of our next meeting, we keep saying this kind of thing. And by the time we want to start giving ultimatum, I say we are insensitive. And these are things that's very, 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 very bad and appalling.
It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of the program. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijatson. Thanks for watching, and remember, labor creates wealth.